been hosting live meetings like this for the last 25 years. And I periodically host different meetings, and I usually would make my decision to host a meeting based on two things: if I had a really good speaker or if I had a really good venue. And one of the best venues for us in hosting a live meeting was a brand new community that was opening, and especially a brand new nursing center, because there is rarely a brand new nursing center that's open. And most importantly, there's not really meeting space in nursing centers. So our opportunity to host a meeting to allow professionals inside to tour that center, it really hinges on this small window where we plan a meeting literally a week before the residents move in. And we've been planning this meeting at Stella Maris for almost, the better part of 6 to 8 months. And then COVID hit. And it's sort of like Rose, who you're going to meet, is sort of like, oh, geez, this is so bad. We were really looking forward to hosting you guys. I was like, well, let's not give up. Let's give it the old college try. Let's try to do it as a virtual meeting. And I'm confident that this is going to be a pretty cool experience, because nobody had to get in their car. And I know you guys are working on your spreadsheets and sort of half, going through this tour. So I'm real excited, and I'm real excited to introduce the team that we've got here from Stella Maris. And there's two things that I'm excited about. Is number one, giving you a glimpse at the newest nursing center in Maryland. But number two, you guys get to sort of hear the frontline stories of the heroes that have been working in long-term care through this entire pandemic. And so I'm really excited to kind of hear, some of the creativity and some of the stories that have been going on there on the Stella Maris campus. So let's see who we've got here today. We've got Henry Cason, the Assistant VP of Nursing. We've got Vanessa Proto, the Director of Rehabilitation. We got Regina Figueroa, CAO. Regina, tell me what a CAO is. Whoops, here, I'm going to unmute you.
A CAO is a catch-all. No, the Chief Administrative Officer for this campus.
Okay. And then we got Rose Kendig, Director of PR and Marketing, and Tracy Barnett, Director of Admissions. So let's go around the Brady Bunch little cube here, and just let's get to meet each of you. I'll start with Henry here at the top. Henry, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do there on the campus.
Well, good afternoon, all. My name is Henry Cason. I'm the Assistant Vice President of Nursing. I've been at Stella Maris. It's been a privilege for 11 years. And as part of the clinical team, we oversee admissions, the clinical care for long-term care, hospice, home hospice, and long-term care patients here on campus. So I'm one of the clinical resources along with Sue Ashman, and it's a pleasure.
Great. Okay, and we'll be coming back to you later, I'm sure. And then Chief Administrative Officer, Regina Figueroa.
Hello, Regina Figueroa, and I am the proud chief of this entire campus, and our campus includes our beautiful new rehab center, which you'll be focusing on, our long-term care facility. We have a hospice business line, our home health care business as well. We have the adult daycare center. What am I missing, guys? Oh, and we also have 200 independent apartments, HUD apartments, that's also on the campus as well. But a fabulous team, and again, unsung heroes here on our campus and in the state of Maryland as we continue to care for seniors throughout this.
And Regina, the organizational body, obviously Stella Maris is a nonprofit provider.
Yes.
And I believe you're committed to, some of your programs are committed to serving the underserved and low-income seniors, correct?
Definitely, that is a part of our mission. We are a Catholic institution, founded by the Sisters of Mercy, and our mission is to care for all equally within our community, and those that we are able to serve, we will do so.
Great. Excellent. Okay, and down below, Regina. This is sort of a combination of the Brady Bunch and what was that game show, Tic-Tac-Toe, or no?
No, it was.
Oh, I forgot what it was.
I know, yeah.
Hollywood Squares, Steve.
Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hollywood Squares.
So Tracy, it's your square now, the Director of Admissions. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm Tracy Barnett. I'm Director of Business Development and Admissions here at Stella Maris. I see many familiar names and faces if you were here so I could actually see you all. I've been in senior living nearly 20 years. I've known Steve for a long time. I'm very happy to be here at Stella. And as Regina pointed out, we have just a vast array of supports and services for the greater community. And myself and my team are here to walk you through it.
Great, excellent. And then to Tracy's right on my screen, we've got Vanessa. Oh, I'm sorry. I pressed the button at the same time you did.
There we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. My name's Vanessa Proto. I'm a physical therapist by trade. I've been with Stella Maris for 12 years. Started my career as a PT, staff PT, and now I've been the program director for the rehab department for 3 years since 2017. And yeah, welcome. We also have outpatient services here for therapy that a lot of people don't know about, and that's something you'll get to see a good deal of today.
Great. And you're probably, out of all the people on the call, you're probably one of the most excited to now have this brand new office.
Yes, this has come to fruition for a lot of years of planning and a lot of hard work of all these people, plus many, many other people behind the scenes. It's an exciting day for all of us to show it to you and bring it to our community.
Great. Okay, and then our last but not least, our tour guide, Rose Kendig, the Director of PR and Marketing. Rose, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started on the tour.
Hi everyone, my name is Rose Kendig, and I've been the Director of PR and Marketing for 16 years here at Stella Maris, and I can tell you, hands down, this is the most exciting thing that has happened in my tenure here. Also, we turn away triple digits numbers of people every year who need rehabilitation services, and now we're going to be able to serve them. So we cannot wait to show you what we have in store.
Yeah, so just so that I understand, like your nursing center that is there on campus was just long-term care. It wasn't necessarily nursing and rehab?
No, we do have rehab, so it's actually going to be renewed, refreshed, more modernized, and so the current rehab will move over into the new building.
Okay, you just didn't have the capacity that you're going to.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
got it. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Well, Rose, take it away. Tell us where you're at, and you're, you got to get that PPE on,
Yep.
even though there's nobody in the building.
Well, there are a few because this is a first look and we are still under construction and making this ready for you all. I'm going to show you a first look at one of our rehab rooms. So this is a new bathroom. It is wheelchair accessible into the whole bathroom. We also have a beautiful vanity. And then the most important part is the room and all the features of the room. Your medications will be held inside the room. The nurse has a double lock system, so your medication will be easily accessible by your nurse. You won't have to wait for a doctor.
Toilet looks slow, is it?
Henry, do you want to talk about the call system?
Henry walked away from his desk.
I can. So one of the fabulous features is this new call system. Usually in long-term care or rehab centers, when you push the button, it rings on the outside of the door, so anybody walking by could go to it to give you assistance. This feature, all of our nurses and GNAs will have a cell phone on them. The button will go directly to their cell phone, and they will be able to communicate from the cell phone directly to this voice-operated remote and ask them, Mrs. Smith, how can I help you? What can I get for you? And they immediately communicate, and there's no wait. So that's
Great.
an amazing
Hey,
feature.
Rose?
And
Rose.
I asked for water, and so outside of the light has water, and it's blue, so that anyone can fulfill that. Rose Kendig, walking through as the PR director, could stop and answer this call because it's water. And we won't waste valuable resources answering a water call.
Excellent. Hey, Rose,
Yes.
go back to the bathroom, and if you could point your tablet towards the toilet. Diane Wilson had a question in chat. It says, toilet looks low, is it? It is, I guess her question was the height of the toilet, so.
Yeah, I think it just looks low. It's the average height.
Okay, or it actually looks like the right
but
height.
it definitely isn't.
Okay, gotcha.
I am a horizontally challenged person.
I mean, as you're holding the camera. Not normally.
Excellent. And and let's see, who is it that says, Sophia Ross says, I love these features already, and we just started the tour.
Okay.
And also Melissa Koppel says, this is a game changer. Congratulations. It's
Melissa?
So, yeah. So all right, Rose, let's see, are any other features you want to show us here? And then I guess you can.
I think against the wall, Rose, if you can go up against the wall just to see all of the clinical features, depending on what's going on with the patient, whether they need oxygen, suctioning, everything is right there and accessible for the nurses to care for them, depending on what the need is, the clinical need is. And then I believe, is it the nightstand or the closet is also going to have an additional feature, which is a safety, a safe box, like we have in the hotels where they can literally lock up valuables as needed. I'm not sure if it's in there yet, but they will have.
It is not yet.
Okay.
Rose, if you can turn around and take a look at the wardrobe. There's a beautiful wardrobe, plenty of room for hanging clothes, folding clothes, personal items. It's beautiful.
Excellent. Let's see, in chat, and guys, I'm reading chat, which is good, but if you put your questions in Q&A, it's even better. So on the call system, let's see, Norma asks, no confusion as to who answers the call first. I think, yeah. It's like whoever's there goes, and then the call.
No, so if they push the button, and it's going to go to their assigned nurse and or GNA. So the cell phones go according to the their patients. But the light outside, yes, everybody sees the light outside. But when they actually call, the phone is going to go directly to their nurse and their GNA.
Great. And then Krista asked, what is the brand of the call button system? What accessibility options are available on it for deaf and blind residents?
That's a great question. It's an ASST system, and it's the most, I guess it's the highest level of the brand that it is. But we would actually have to have a different system if they are blind, because they couldn't see it. But deaf, I've got to look and see if it has the features on there to touch. That's a great question.
Yeah. No,
and there's still time to add it.
Yeah. These sessions that we run, it's definitely, we have, our questions, they put you to the test. So most of our sessions that we run, the speakers are sort of like, I got to get back to you on that. And then are all the rooms private rooms?
Yes. Every room.
Wow, that's great.
So it's
Excellent.
60 all private rooms, 60 total.
Nice. And they all have their own bathroom with a
Private
shower?
and suite bathroom, no with the shower, so private and suite in the room, all 60.
Great. It's so great to see the transition from the old school nursing home with the one shower in each hall, you know. Let's see. I don't know if she did this by mistake, but it looks like Santana has her hand raised. Santana, did you have a question for us, or were you just testing your hand raising button? Okay, we'll see if she comes on. Okay, oh, Rose. Looks like Rose is in a new location. Tell us what you're doing there.
So this is Chef Fred, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the dining experience here at the new Rehabilitation Center at Stella Maris.
It's our bistro.
Sure. Thank you, Rose, and excited to be here. I'm the corporate chef for the healthcare division for Met's Culinary Management, and we were chose to be partners here and very honored to be here. We are going to have some really restaurant-style food here for the residents that in the rehab facility only. We built a special menu just for them. And a little sneak peek on a couple of items. We're going to have slow-roasted beef brisket. We're going to have handcrafted Maryland crab cakes. And we are going to have house-roasted pork as well, as amongst many other things. But we'll leave that up to you for when you folks come, and you can try some excellent food here.
Great. Thank you. And this is
the bistro.
The bistro. Are there, how many dining places are there in the center?
There's one per floor, so there are 2.
And how many residents per floor?
30.
30. Okay. Oh, 2 floors, 60 residents. Okay, great. Let's see. Well, we got a bunch of questions that are coming in, so I hope you guys are cool with me just kind of reading these to you. Do patients have to pay a monthly fee for TV and internet?
No, it's all included.
Okay. And then how many beds are there? 60, and they're all private. Is there a separate rehab floor? If so, how many beds on the rehab unit and how many beds in total in the facility? That's from Santana.
This is the rehab center. So each floor is the rehab floor. Okay. Our main building will be our long-term care.
How large is the long-term care?
300 and, well, I gotta take 60 from it now. 330.
Wow.
So we're 390 total licensed beds here at Stella Maris, including the new rehab building. So we're the 2nd largest provider in the state.
Great. And Jeremiah Keys says, in regards to the chef, this is one of the key elements of any rehab. Food is always a big deal.
Amen.
Yep. And Beth Wiseman asks, will any of the rooms be looped for hard of hearing people? It is now a state law.
I will have to look into that for you.
Yeah. And Beth, I'll make sure that I share your guys' emails with everybody. And I know Beth is an advocate for deaf and hard of hearing, and so she can help you with the, I forgot what they call the loop, but it is a nice function.
Okay.
So, while we're waiting for Rose to pop up on the screen next, I'd love to kind of hear from each of you guys about what life has been like on the front lines in your job going through this COVID crisis. And, you know, there's lots of challenges and lots of really horrific stories, but there's also some great opportunities that have come out of this crisis. But I'd love, and I know our audience would love, for you, any of you, to share your perspectives.
Well, I think it's been really tough for everybody. Obviously, I think the number one thing is how nursing homes became a focus, and not in the supportive way. So we took a brunt of the negative media, and not just nursing homes. I would say assisted livings, the adult daycare centers. all senior areas, but nursing homes specifically, because they are our vulnerable population. They are 9 times out of 10 in a shared room. So I think that was really hard, not having the support. Again, the obvious, not having the resources and the PPE initially when everything was happening. We, however, have been fortunate, I would say, because we have a partnership and owned by Mercy Medical Center downtown. So we had a hospital that was there with us every step of the way, assisting us with what we couldn't get on our own, and what other nursing homes were struggling with and probably still are struggling with. But we were very fortunate in having resources. We've got very competent employees and leadership. The staff really pulled together. So thank you to them. And again, as I said earlier, unsung heroes throughout the state and throughout the nation that are not getting their due, and recognizing what we are doing every day. It's not news, it's not a shocker that we care for sick elderly people, and that it is definitely in this environment that they would be getting the virus a lot quicker than at home. So we pulled together, and I think we had our peaks and valleys as well with this, and have come out doing really well and stronger because of it. Great.
And I know Rose looks like she's going into the rehab center, but yes. I wanted to make sure that, let's see, where was that? There was a question for Vanessa that I wanted to make sure that we got her to answer to everybody. Vanessa, did you?
There was a question regarding the length of stay rooms, and did all the rooms have the same amenities? They all have the same amenities, and this is considered our short-term rehabilitation center.
So is there sort of like a maximum amount of time that somebody would be able to stay in short-term rehab?
I mean, it's dependent upon their condition, their insurance, and what the plan is for them. But our goals are to, return as many of our short-term rehabilitation patients back to their level of care they were at prior.
Great. And Vanessa, stay on the line here, because I know we're now in your sweet spot.
In my sweet
Tell
spot.
us a little bit about what we're looking at there.
So this is our kind of in progress outpatient gymnasium. So we do service quite a few people on campus, but we also do service quite a few people in the community. And we have had a really great relationship with our short-term rehab candidates over the years, and they like to come back to us for their outpatient care, which we love. Continuity of care is great. So we are hoping to be able to service more of the community and be able to give them kind of state-of-the-art things to get them back to doing the activities they used to do and want to do. So it's a big space that still has a lot of equipment coming in, but we have really designed it in order to serve as many people as we can. And under COVID, you can see in the larger spaces, we have contingencies for determining how many people can be in a gym at once, under what conditions. I think some of the things we've learned the most during this crisis were how to be creative with your therapy, be creative with your activities, be creative in allowing us to treat those residents and people in our community the best way we can, and to keep them from declining, just for the sheer fact of not being able to move around a building anymore.
Two things. Well, number one, and I'm hoping that I guess Rose is focused on this. What is this device?
So we can talk about this. This is part of the amazing things that we've gotten here in terms of our inpatient rehab. This is called the Bioness Vector Elite. We are one of only 3 in the state of Maryland, and as far as I understand, the only subacute rehab to have this equipment. So in the country, as far as I understand. So we researched quite a bit based on the fact that we have been treating patients from all over Baltimore's acute rehabs and getting them to step down. And we have a very strong both neuro and orthopedic program here. This facilitates body weight support. So this is a system where you would put a patient into a harness and actually decrease the amount of body weight they are required to have to do activities. It is top of the line. We have quite a few bells and whistles on this that are brand new this year. It's run by a remote, but also that computer screen that you're seeing. And then there's also a non-automated version of that that's in the middle of that ceiling that is for use with different kinds of residents, again, to put people in parallel bars, to help suspend people so they don't fall, so you can challenge their balance. I've been personally in the machine, and it is not as difficult as some people get concerned about it feeling, and it provides such a support for the staff to really engage our residents as quickly as possible to get our short-term care patients up and moving as quickly and safely as possible, which we kind of all know is the way we want to go now. We don't want to be languishing in facilities for days and days and days in this era of COVID. So it's really about trying to open it up, get people up and moving, and really engage them in getting them back to where they used to be.
Yeah, and you know, it sounds like it's got the benefits of like a lot of water therapy that takes the load off of people, but as a therapist, you can't really work on somebody's gait and things like that when they're in a swimming pool. So
it will it unweights people up to 50% of their body weight up to 200 pounds. So we can take a 400-pound patient and make them 200 pounds.
Excellent. Great. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like when it's all done. And we got a bunch of questions, and I've got some questions, but Rose is, okay, this is cool. Is this like a touchless entryway?
Yeah, throughout all of the facilities, they are just wave door openings. So I think Rose is on the back patio.
Yeah. So
we also have a wonderful outdoor rehab space, which we had developed in order to help our residents practice on different surfaces. So there's curbs, there are cuts and curves. There's bumps like you would have when you cross the street. There's patio, there are hills out there, and there's actually garden beds so we can practice a little bit of bending and gardening. There's stairs with rails so we can practice different surfaces. And on top of that, it's a wonderful spot to give your patients a way to get outdoors during some of their therapy. You know, when the weather's nice, there's nothing like a sunny day to bring up your spirits and get you back to wanting to do more. So we are really excited about our therapy garden.
Oh, that's great. That's a beautiful structure there too. That is really, it's beautiful. And yeah, one of the tough things about their rehab is a lot of times, you know, just by the location, the patients are inside the entire time. You know, I want to get to some more audience questions, but one of the cool things as we're going through here, you guys sort of have this blank slate to address what would happen. Well, right now we're in the middle of COVID, okay? So you're able to set this up right from the get-go to facilitate social distancing, address the new world, but also be prepared for something else that might happen like this. None of us ever expected this to happen, but you're sort of starting right from the get-go.
Yeah, it was interesting as we were making it, one of the added features post-COVID was sinks in the hallway. You know, something really basic, but was not part of the plan to add sinks in the middle of the hallways. But definitely now that we need to be washing our hands more often, not just using hand sanitizer, we added sinks, and it's a fabulous feature now we can promote.
Great. Oh, Rose is back. Where is she now? This looks looks like, what is this?
Looks like she's back in the restroom.
Rose is in the practice bathroom and shower. So Vanessa, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the
that's correct. We did, this is a practice ADL suite so that we can practice people getting in and out of their bathtub at home, which most facilities don't have a bathtub that looks like your home bathtub. So this is, again, down in the rehab gym. We have a separate bathroom just for the practicing, for doing shower chairs, things like that.
What a great
we also
idea.
have a private speech therapy office downstairs that can be inpatient or outpatient. I have a great, amazing speech therapy staff here that's been here years. We also do electrical stimulation for swallowing. We do, now with COVID, we haven't used it, but we do have the availability of having fees studies done on site as soon as things open up. So we've really tried to make this a full service situation so the resident can get a lot of their services while they're in their rehab. This is our practice kitchen and laundry, again, just to kind of get everybody back to learning to do what they need to do to be home.
And these are commercial products. These are full-size washer dryer, just like you would have in your home, full-size refrigerator, stove, oven. You know, again, we want to replicate home as much as possible while working on ADLs.
That's great. Really neat. I don't think I've seen that in a rehab center. Okay, let's see. Howard Lynn says, does the rehab center provide interpreters in case patients do not speak English?
Yes, we have a system, and I don't know the name of it right now, but we contract with a system through the iPad, and our social workers can log in and they can contact somebody regardless of the language and interpret whatever needs to be interpreted for the patients.
Great. Let's see. Howard also says, is there any difference in the level of care between the first floor versus the second floor? So is there sort of different sections for different types of rehab patients?
No, there isn't.
I guess you guys must have thought about if somebody becomes COVID positive, ways that you can sort of segregate the COVID positive from the population. Again, well, another good.
Yeah, our facility has already created 2 to 3 COVID centers or COVID areas designated. So once someone becomes COVID positive, they then go into our COVID center.
Great.
Area.
Karen Hodge, wow, great to see Karen Hodge's name here. She's down in South Carolina. Is your master plan goal to reduce the beds in long-term care for more private rooms? What is the number of private rooms now in long-term care?
Right now, we probably have, Tracy, you might have told me, we might have about.
That's a great question. I don't have a breakdown of the exact total number. As we stand today, that we do have more semi-private than private rooms in long-term care.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty standard. But post-COVID, I'm sure we all, as operators, are looking at what is possible with the reimbursement rate and what can we do for the safety of our residents to offer more private rooms in long-term care.
Yep. Let's see. Mary Moderman says, are you hiring OTs for part-time or full-time work? If so, how do I go about applying? That's great. And everybody, Mary is looking for a job. So great.
Mary, keep your eyes open. Okay. We don't have any positions right at the moment, but you never know with our growth. So keep your eyes open out there for Stella Maris. You may see us.
Okay. And I'm assuming, Mary, you'll get Vanessa's email so you can get on her radar. I'm assuming she's the one who's going to be in the position to hire when they're able. Janet Magruder says, will you add safety bars in your bathrooms, which is essential for safety reasons? Okay, so the rehab bathroom didn't have safety bars in it. And I bet
the training bathroom?
The training bathroom, yes. Yeah,
The training bathroom's not designed to have bars because people don't have bars in their home. There are multiple other bathrooms on that rehab unit that are barred. If you saw the bedroom, every one of the rooms has a bar on the wall and a fold down bar. But the reason that we left the practice bathroom that way was because we needed to teach people in spaces that they do not have bars, because people, you know, that's a real life thing. But all of our actual patient bathrooms have bars.
And I can tell Mary Moderman, who was asking about the positions, she's also a certified aging in place specialist. I see on her question. I know that all rehab centers advise the families and the individuals that if you're going to be discharged and go home, make sure that you modify that home so that it can be safe. So, let's see. Oh, Emily Thompson has a good question. What precautions are you going to take in the bistro due to COVID?
The meals are going to be delivered to their rooms. So we are actually going to keep them in their rooms. Right now in the state of Maryland, when you admit someone, they are to be isolated anyway for 14 days. So for those first 14 days, and in rehab, the stay is usually about 14 to 21, 29 days. Anyway, it's not a long-term stay. So we envision they will be getting room service to the rooms.
Great. And then Lori Van Ackerman says, how do these rooms rehab differ from the facilities for the long-term care residents?
Well, they're bigger. They are all private. And they're equipped with the gym in this building for the focus on only rehab and short-term stay to go back home, versus our long-term care neighborhoods are mostly semi-private. They are there, this is their home. It is decorated differently. They've got common areas. They have, it's more of a home style than a short-term stay.
Great. And then Janet Magruder, will you add safety bars in your bathrooms, which is essential for, oh no, that we already did that one. Okay. All right. I got through all the questions. I can't believe it. So let's see. Looks like we got Rose in a new location. Where are you, Rose?
I'm actually back where we started at the bedroom, the showroom. So I don't, unless someone has a specific place they would like me to go, we've hit the real top places.
Rose, if I may, if you can step closer to the bed, one other safety feature that when the clinical and administrative teams were looking, if you note, this bed has enablers or transfer aid. It does not have side rails. In a rehab environment, this is excellent because that enabler actually helps them to stand. It also can pivot outwards and assist them to transfer and to stand. So it is a great tool in this environment in Rehab Center, and we took great care in selecting this product for the safety of our residents.
Great. I see a question in chat is that, do you have music therapy? Is that something, like what are some of the...
I was actually typing the answers. Yes, we actually have music therapy once a week. And currently it's being live streamed through our internal TV channels, so everyone gets it on their television in their room. But yes, we have a wonderful music therapist.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's see. We got through the questions. Man, lots of great conversation going on. And I love when you guys are networking in chat on different topics. So like there's some discussion going on what computer program do you use for billing and documentation of care? And Regina is sharing some of those resources. Just so you guys know, we send a full transcript of the chat as well as the recording to everybody. So you don't need to take notes and what have you. So with the remaining time, by all means, the audience, if you guys want to jump in and ask questions, raise your hand or type them in. But I am interested in, well, well, Tracy, tell me kind of what's it been like living in the world of a director of admissions when you're not allowed to accept residents? This has been such a challenging time.
Yes, it's difficult to think of what our problems were before. We often say this. What were our challenges before COVID? We have a whole new appreciation for what we did every day prior to this. You know, Regina said it best. There have been peaks and valleys, and you know, I would venture to say we've had more peaks at Stella than valleys, and we're very proud of that. You know, critical thinking, communication, consistent communication with each other, that has been key. New guidelines have been coming out, oh my gosh, multiple
Hourly,
usually on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, something new comes out. And without fail, this team has come together and kept our families well informed. And for me, it's about keeping our professional referral sources well informed of where we are. Yes, we're admitting we can help. You know, we've gotten to be, Henry, haven't we? I think experts at figuring out COVID status and finding the right solution. I would like to share one wonderful success story from just, I believe it was last week or the week before. I received a call from someone whose father was at St. Joe's, COVID positive status, and Henry and I talked about him. We were able to bring him directly to our COVID unit, which we built here at Stella. Once he recovered, he moved to our official rehab floor and is recovering beautifully. So, you know, that is something we're capable of so much here at Stella, and that's just one example of a great success story. We're very proud.
Really good question that came in, and this is what's blown me away about our industry, is Krista Kramer says, what programs do you have in place to help residents stay in touch with those on the outside when they're in isolation and lockdown? And I've seen so many creative approaches. Oftentimes, the family members themselves are the ones that sort of create solutions. But any interesting ideas or stories that have sort of come about over there on your campus?
so we started first communicating with a dedicated phone line when this all started, and we updated it every 12 hours with information, what's going on. Then we added a secure portal to our website where the families could log in and see what's going on as well. Then we went towards the window visits. We've got a breezeway courtyard area where the families can come in from the outside, and the residents and staff can be behind the window and still see each other communicating with a cell phone. Then finally, when the state wised up and figured we can do outside visits, we were allowed to do outside visits where families would come into the courtyard and we could go outside with the resident and staff member. And that's what's going on right now. That's going really well. And it's helped the residents, it's helped the families, and then also the staff to see the love. And, you know, somebody celebrated, was it 101 or 100 birthday party? Family came outside with balloons and champagne and socially distancing, of course, but was able to celebrate that large milestone with their grandmother.
We've also been able to use WebEx services.
Yes, we did start that.
For some family training, for families to actually be involved in some therapy sessions. Because we can't do the traditional, that's sort of the things we've been attempting to set up, especially to encourage, but also to learn what's new and what they're going to have when they come home.
Let's see. I like, it's not where's Waldo, it's where's Rose. Is this a different location, or is this?
This is outside in our memory garden, we call it, but it's an outside courtyard sitting area where we have the bricks on the ground. The red bricks are usually purchased by family members or staff in memory of someone, which is showing them. So it's a courtyard made of memory bricks. Outside area to sit down, and then we've got some more of the boulders that were nicely engraved with our grateful donors that added to this project and supported us.
And is this is on the exterior sort of entrance
of the rehab building? Mm-hmm.
Okay. And actually, you guys may have said this, but I'm glad Howard Lynn is bringing this question up. When will the current rehab residents transfer to the new facility? Like when?
Everybody together. September 1st.
Oh,
Yay.
So right around the corner here.
Right around the corner.
And I'm assuming that you're transferring the first group of residents are going to be the existing rehab residents that are there on your campus.
Correct.
And then you'll begin opening
New
up
admissions.
to new admissions. Okay.
Right.
Great. And is something going to happen? So is there going to be sort of a remodeling of the old
that area? Well, that area we had lots of ideas before COVID, but I think right now we are going to just close it, focus on this new building, and then hopefully as things evolve, we can go back and see what other opportunities do we have for that area.
Man, I mean, who would have ever thought, I mean, it really, I think that's number one, a very wise move, because the world is changing radically every day, and what you might have purposed that area for could be completely irrelevant.
Correct.
So again, you got a great option where you got a blank canvas to work with in the new world with the new rehab center. And then you've also got this extra space that can be reinvented based on
future needs.
Let's see. Diane Watson says, how many beds comprise of your COVID unit? Isolation beds for things like C. diff or other infections?
So for C. diff infections are all private rooms, so that gives us a lot of freedom in every room. Before, one of the challenges you talked about, Steve, in our current setting is that we had to make sure they were in private rooms. Well, in our new beautiful rehabilitation center, they're all private rooms. For our COVID positive neighborhood that Regina talked about earlier, that is 18 beds. That's a small neighborhood. Tracy talked about how we had the success story from the community and we isolate our patients there. After that, they come out after they meet that CDC guidelines to come off precaution and isolation. They come into the rehab center and we are able to provide phenomenal care there.
So let me interject, Henry, I'm sorry. We have the 18 in the center. We have 8 in a separate center on the first floor. And then we also have an additional, I want to say an additional 20, if needed, that we could place and put in our auditorium. So we were granted about 50 COVID beds, emergency beds, if needed.
Great. And Krista Kramer, again, has a good technology question. What about phone and video communication between residents and families? What accessibility features or accessories are you using for those with communication, cognitive, or physical limitations?
I'm glad this question came up. We have a state-of-the-art call bell system, and this system has enhanced communication features right on the call bell pillow talk that they can call. So if they're in pain, just like in many centers, they can hit pain. A light will come on that's pink in color and alert a phone that the nurse carries that what their precise need is, so that we can use the appropriate resource to get them in. And then if they need other response, such as bathroom, it will alert yellow at the call light and send that to the GNA. And that is very good. All of the staff will also have the ability, if they are at the nurse's station, to call in, speak with the resident, and there are emergency features in the room as well, right at the point of care. So all of this will be state-of-the-art to enhance the ability to communicate with our residents.
Great. And we're down to about 5 minutes. We like to be sensitive to everybody's time, so I'm just letting people know we're going to sort of start winding this down. Rose, you did an awesome job of being the tour guide, and I have to say one of the things that I'm most impressed about Stella Maris is Rose, the connection was awesome all over the community. So that's really good,
Great.
because I think just about every nursing center in the state probably has, like, you know, places in the building where it all just blacks out, you know, and we've done this a couple of times and it's been challenging. So this
I
is—
would like to mention one thing, if it's okay, just before
No,
we
absolutely.
wind down. So we accept admissions 7 days a week here at Stella, and there are many rehab facilities that do not. And especially with our new center opening, additional beds, we're so thrilled about this. But 7 days a week, we are admitting 7 days a week to the new rehab building. We're thrilled about that. My information is in the chat, so I can be reached anytime. Look forward to supporting.
Great, and I'll be sending out everybody's emails for folks that want to follow up. And, you know, just because it is so challenging, I think there's not only is senior housing a super challenging segment, and I don't mean to put you guys on the spot, but you've got adult daycare. In fact, it's a pretty impressive adult daycare center. My heart just goes out to the families that are aging in place with loved ones with cognitive issues, and adult daycare. I think more than anything, we realize what a valuable resource that is. And now that we can't accept adult daycare, is there anything creative that you're doing for those members of your community?
Yeah, our employees of the adult daycare center, although they don't have the clients, they're actually calling them every day, bringing meals, bringing gifts, exchanging. They go to the homes, socially distancing, and they're exchanging gifts and artwork, keeping them engaged and continuing to be involved with the families to help them get through the day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother— in September, we want to do a panel presentation on adult daycare during COVID-19 and beyond. And so I'll reach out and make sure that we get you guys on board for that. But wow, this has been great. Congratulations to you guys. You're getting a lot of kudos from the attendees.
Can I say one last thing, Steve? Sorry.
No, absolutely. That's what I was just going to say. Any closing remarks, and then
So closing remarks. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. We are very excited to be able to offer 60 private rooms and private bathrooms for anyone in need during their short-term rehab recovery stay. We are going to open officially on September 1st, but what I would like to offer is we are doing first look tours or dusty shoe tours right now before September 1st, because once we move in our residents, there's no visitors again. But if there's anybody that's around or interested in doing a tour, please reach out to our admissions and we can schedule that for you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, if that's it, I thank you, and I'm gonna press the end button. And like I said,
Thank you.
I'll share all the chat. I'll share the recording. I'll share our panelist contact info. And congrats again to the Stella Maris team for pulling this off in extraordinary times.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.